Most lunchtime. My name is Ellie Fall with Techus Fiber Internet, the internet with the best referral program. So we love to give away free months of internet to our loyal customers. So if you're interested in learning more about that, please check out our table or ask somebody. It is my true pleasure to introduce our next speaker today, Miss Carolyn Gray. I will tell you, in the South, we talk about visiting a lot. You know, when you get to visit with somebody. If you get the chance to visit with Carolyn, take her up on it. That is something that you will not regret. She has a lot of wisdom to share. So Carolyn Gray is a personal development strategist and accountability coach. She is a former human resources manager with 30 years of experience in human resources, leadership, management, employee relations, personal development training, with experience in building personal and professional relationships. In 2006, Carolyn established Zircon Consulting, a boutique consulting and training firm located in Spring, Texas. She is a certified professional coach, a certified personality trainer. I love that. Etiquette consultant and distinguished Toastmaster, and has a bachelor's degree in human resources. Carolyn is a board member and former team lead for the Diversity and Inclusion Council for the Woodlands Area Chamber of Commerce, a VP of Human Resources, woman on a mission to earn commission, if you've heard of WOMTAC. She's worked with the Woodlands, with the Woodlands and Advisory Board member. She's also worked with Services Cooperative Association's Women's Business Center, Houston, Texas. She's been recognized as a Montgomery County Women's Council of Organizations Women of Distinction. She has been recognized by Breast Cancer Charities of America. She's been recognized by the WISE Conference, so Women Inspiring Supporting Entrepreneurs. She is the author of Network Etiquette, Dazzle, Don't Frazzle, and is internationally recognized for two of her books, All About Me, Manners and Etiquette, and 365 Days of Gratitude. There's always something to be grateful for. Carolyn enjoys golfing, reading, volunteering, and traveling. She is married and has one son and a daughter and a son-in-law and two grandsons. So welcome, Ms. Carolyn.
Woo! Thank you. Hello, everybody. Okay, first of all, I have to give you the disclaimer. The disclaimer is David? Oh, there he is. I am a true techno peasant, so please forgive me for any technical mistakes that you notice. Just consider it that I really am not all that technically sound. But what happened, I was just telling Kristen, it's already started. I have a video that I wanted to play. And I'm gonna play it because I want you all to see this. And if you can read it, it's a video that I put together once I wrote the book, Network Etiquette. And it's kind of cute, but the reason I want to play it is because we have some stars in this video here in this room. And they need to see that. And it's just telling you about how to build relationships with folks you meet. I don't know if y'all can see it? Can you hear it? The music. Do I need dance? I'll get David to do that. He can do that and do this quiz. And I should have permission to do that. But anyway, so Dazzle, Don't Frazzle is the title of the book that I wrote when I first started networking. When I came out of the HR arena, I didn't know anything about networking. So I thought, because I came from corporate and we had conferences. And I found out that conference and networking is really the same thing. But this is, I think it's a cute video, but I want you all to see some of the folks in here. And these are a lot of pictures taken at networking. So pay attention, you don't want to miss any of the stars. Y'all recognize her? Oh, there she is. And then here's Stephanie Davenport. Oh, I'm she. So that's my production of network etiquette based on my book. Now I've got to go back, and I think Adam told me that I could do that. There we go. So let me tell you all a little bit about me. First of all, I'm probably not like your typical speaker because, I compare myself to like an airplane. When you're in a big jet, you get on the runway and you have the long runway before you take off. I'm not that kind of speaker. I'm a helicopter. I just take off and start talking, okay? So don't be expecting this long ride and you're gonna go and then up, we're just gonna take off. How many of you have heard of this book or even read it? All I Really Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten, and it's by Robert Fulghum. Anybody ever heard of this book? I'm not saying we're kindergartners, but what I am saying is that what we need to know in order to be have good etiquette or be nice and be kind. And we learned this in kindergarten. And as my husband likes to tell me, he didn't go to kindergarten whenever he does something. I said, we all learned this in kindergarten. He said he didn't go to, I said, well, at first grade then. But it's there, it's in us, and we just need to stir this up. So just know that you're probably not gonna hear anything that you don't already know, but we're gonna stir up some stuff so that we will be much better at having a relationship. So there is an etiquette for everything. There is an etiquette for everything. And you can either dazzle or you can frazzle. So when you dazzle, you're exciting people and they're glad to see you and they want to be with you. And when you frazzle them, it's like, when are you leaving? You've just worn me out. And I'm sure that you all can attest to that. There's someone in this room that you can say, yeah, I've had that happen to me. And that's what the frazzle part is. So here's etiquette. Etiquette is the way a responsible individual should behave. We should behave this way. It's decency, good manners, civility, courtesy, and being considerate and being kind. And I just want to tell you that Kristen and Ian, just for the most part, just took everything that I was going to say when they did their presentation. But I'm going to say mine anyway because I have it on my slide. But it really helped me when I heard them talking about this, because I'm thinking, yeah, this is what we really need to do. And there's one word, and I won't tell you the word just yet, but it starts with an I, that we all need to remember. It's so important in what we do. So Ian talked about being polite, and Kristen, you just went on into it, and I'm thinking, stop. You're talking about what I'm going to talk about. But it was so good. Talking about dressing and talking about being enthusiastic. So we need to remember that there's decency, good manners, civility, courtesy, and being considerate and being kind. So let's go with language etiquette. Oh my goodness. Listen, and I don't know if anybody feels this way besides me, but have y'all noticed that the F word has taken on every part of the speech that we could ever learn in school? It's a verb, it's a noun, it's an adverb, it's a gerund. When people talk, they use the F word like nobody's. Who talked about Gary Vee? Was it you, Chris? How many of you know Gary Vee? How many of you know that Gary Vee, I don't even know if we can say he has a potty mouth. What's after a potty mouth? Gary Vee is really someone he's good, I can't take that away from him, but if you have sensitive ears, and I have sensitive ears, not that I haven't heard these words, but I don't like them. They're offensive, it is offensive. But just know that there is an etiquette for language, and we want to, not when we can, avoid using the F word. We have so many words in our vocabulary that we can use besides using the F word. But people have to accent whatever they're saying by using the F word. So let's kind of be aware. Here, let's stir it up. Are you using the F word? I saw that. Do you use the F word over there? Oh, don't use that word. Have you heard it? Does it offend you? Okay, good. That's two of us for sure. Two of us for sure it really is offensive, and it's not necessary. Avoid gossip. Let me tell y'all about gossip. Gossip is really like acid on something, because if someone hears you talking about them or gossiping about them, it really does impact how they feel and interact. So avoid gossip. And most of the time, it's not something that you really have any proof of anyway. It's just kind of spreading some stuff that somebody's told you or that you overheard. You know how that goes. So avoid gossip. And when you, unless you're in an environment where you're with people who you know and you really well, we want to avoid talking about politics and gender. Sexual orientation and gender, those are things that we don't need to talk about openly and in public unless it's with people that you know. And it's okay to talk about. And let me go back to the F word. I had a coach from the UK who, I didn't know she liked the F word like this, but she was sharing with us a part of her journal. She was sharing a part of her journal and she was reading it. And I'm telling you, it's like bleep, 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 bleep. Thinking, and I asked her, I said, do you always say? She said, I love cussing and I love the F word. So I thought, well, I'm glad she didn't do that in my sessions, because I probably would have said, she said, are you offended? I said, I would prefer that you not use them. And she said, okay, I won't. But she said she said, I love to cuss and I love the F word. I'm not sure what that does for her, but it was really offensive to me. And other thing is, in cubicles, I don't know how many, now that we're all back in an office, if we have cubes, but if you're in a cubicle or in an office, using the speakerphone, we want to try to avoid that too, because it really is distracting and disturbing to other people. So here we have language etiquette, all right? And here's something true, but maybe, just maybe, to show a little empathy. And I'm going to read something to you. This is a quote. In a free country, you have an absolute right to say what you think in public, period. And it doesn't matter who you offend, who is offended by it. And that's a quote. And some people live by that. And I think it's a little selfish. I think it's a little immature. But when you're getting ready to say something, here, let's use this thing. Is it true? Before you say it, is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? And is it kind? And if you can say yes to all of that and you feel like it's okay, I'm not going to offend you, Christian, then have at it. But if you get through, is it true? Is it necessary? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? You're probably going to decide that you don't want to say what you're going to say. And when you're talking about hearing gossip, that's really the acronym you want to use. It's not even worth repeating, because it is so offensive. So does everyone have did you get a hand? You're going to need a handout, not right now, but you're going to need a handout, because you've got to see some stuff in there. So have you all noticed that recently there's a lot of communication and conversation about soft skills? For a while, really. You can't pick up a magazine, you can't listen to things on the news or podcasts. Soft skills are really something that we want to hone in on. Hard skills, can you operate your computer? Can you type? Can you do the machinery? If you can do all of that, you've got the hard skills down. But the soft skills are the skills that you really can't put your finger on and say, I'm not sure what it is, but there's something going on. And those are the hard skills, of course, are your technical knowledge, but soft skills are your personal habits and traits that shape how you work on your own and with others. So let's look at some of the soft skills. And I'm going to go through this. I've got a couple of videos that I want to share with you, but let's look at the soft skills, and I'm going to use my notes here. So your work ethic. What is your work ethic like? What is your work ethic like? You're hardworking, you're willing to work, you're sharing with others, teamwork, you're cooperative. How many of you work in teams and you have folks that you just have to almost browbeat to get them to do anything? We're not talking about quiet quitting, we're just talking about people who just not cooperative and working with a team. Those folks are hard to deal with. Responsibility, you're accountable. Get your job done. Do it when you say you're going to do it. professionalism. And this is one that is really soft because we all say they're so professional. And when you ask someone what that means, you'll get 15 different reasons why someone is professional. But they're businesslike, they're well-dressed. And Ian, in his session, talked about that. I love those 9 characteristics you talked about. Appearance and you're poised. And so many people now, especially in our culture now, you see people, dressed any kind of way. I do some contract work, and I was working for this agency, and they said, tomorrow is go casual day. So I said, oh, okay. So I came in, I had on a windsuit, it was of course it was matching, and I had a nice t-shirt. So I looked around and I'm thinking, where did they get that stuff from? They had sweatpants on with holes, the knees, when you have sweatpants on that you keep them on too long, how the knees buckle. So the girl said to me, this is dress down day. I said, honey, I'm as down as I'm gonna dress coming to work. That's it, I'm not dressing down. I can't go down any further than that. She said, you should have worn some, this is it. I'm at work. I represent the company that I work for, and I have to put my best foot forward so that you see that I really do appreciate the fact that I work for this company. Now, you see me with some sweatpants on and some holes in the knee. What do you think about my company? You're not going to be very impressed. And that's what we have to think about. It's not the fact, just because we can do something doesn't mean we should. Okay? And in this culture, yeah, go ahead and applaud. Good place to applaud. Yeah, thank you. Our company image is really important. I represent my company. My company is Zircon. If I come out with these sweatpants on, you're not going to ask me to come and work for you. You're not going to ask me to speak. You're not going to refer anyone to me. I'm a member of the chamber. What do you think, JJ, where is he in here? Okay. Oh no. It's nice, JJ, it's all good. But what do you think JJ would say if he sends me I'm gonna send Carolyn over to do so-and-so, and I show up with some sweatpants on and a sweatshirt that looks like it's been washed 1,000,000 times. He's not gonna be very happy. And knowing JJ, if you know Jay, he would say something to me, but he wouldn't have to say anything to me because I'm not going to represent the chamber like that. And that's true for WAMTAC. I'm a member of WAMTAC. I represent WAMTAC. Who's it talking about your own company? You should represent your company or represent your company better than you represent yourself better than you represent your company, or vice versa. I want you, when I come out, it's not just about WAMTAC. It's not just about the chamber. It's about me and how you see me and I present myself. Because at some point, I want you to know that I'm someone that you can depend on, you can count on me to do this, and then I'm going to represent you to where you're going to be pleased with how I'm presenting myself to the company. The other thing about this is, let me just tell you this, in this culture that we're in, you can dress and do whatever you want at company A, and then you maybe tell somebody off or quiet quit or whatever you do and you leave. Let me just tell you, people move around so much. You get over to company B, C, D, or E, and guess who's there? That person from company A that you were just trying to get away from and you told off, use the F word with them. So listen, think about what we're doing before we do it, okay? Interpersonal skills, are you nice? Personable. Flexibility, I love flexibility. Some people are just so rigid they can't. I'm working on an assignment. Can you give me a hand? No, I can't do that. But flexibility, are you adaptable? Are you willing to change? Are you willing to do something else? And of course, courtesy. Now, the one that I did not mention was integrity, and that's because that's a biggie for me. Let me tell you, integrity is everything to me. And it should be for all of us, because if a person lacks integrity or have a very low level of integrity, that's something that you have to decide. Do you want to affiliate and associate yourself with that person? And if you say, well, it's okay, I'll get around it. But listen, I want to play this video for you. And this is a Frost Bank video, and I am using it with permission.
If you don't mean it, it's just words. Well, integrity is basically loyalty to be good when no one is watching. So you should do it because you know it's right.
So did everyone hear what she said? It's just words. If you don't mean it, then don't say it. Okay. Business etiquette. Here, told you we got etiquette for everything. We got business etiquette, we have language etiquette, we have you think of something, throw a word out, and I can give you an etiquette for it. My pet peeve, listen, I have shopping cart etiquette. You really want me to go into orbit? I'm pulling into a parking space, and guess what's there? A shopping cart. Now, something that's small, you think, just go find another parking. No, why did they do that? The basket to put the little thing is right here. Just move it. No shopping cart etiquette. No shopping cart, period. What's going on here in America? What is this? And the other one, here's another. I have several, but these two really bother me. So gentlemen, I'm trusting that you guys don't do this. You get ready to go into a door, and this happens to me. I don't know if it's just me, they don't like me or whatever. And the guy in front of me will open the door just wide enough to slither in, and he won't even push it back far enough so I can grab it. I'm like, dude, what's going on here? Whatever happened to, what are your manners? What's going on? You don't have to hold it for me, just open it wide enough for me to grab it. But anyway, but the shopping cart one is number one. Anybody else have a shopping cart? Oh, good. There's an etiquette for that. So just know, shopping cart etiquette. But business etiquette, this is so important for us to do because we stand out above everyone else when we do. Wear your name tag. And I know people don't like name tags. You don't want to wear them. And the appropriate way to wear your clip-on name tag is on the right side, so that when someone shakes your hand, if you're still shaking, then they can see your name tag. That's the appropriate way. Firm handshake if we're shaking hands. Manners and behavior in the workplace. And listen, it's nothing wrong with using please and thank you. How many of you would really like to have you give them something and they say thank you? You know the response is no problem. That's it. We don't use please and thank you and you're welcome. And it's okay to use it. I know it's a little old-fashioned, maybe it's a little grandmotherish, maybe that's me, but please and thank you and you're welcome. Try it. Don't try it because you'll probably shock the person, they won't know what to say, but just don't try it. Treat your coworkers and your customers with respect and honesty. And be timely. I think maybe it was, I'm here, and you're it today. I think it was in Ann's presentation where he talked about being timely and being on time. Because if you're on time, you're late, it was Ann. So be timely and be an active listener. It is extremely important to be an active listener. And I've worked on this for a lot of years, and I'm sure some of you all have too, and that is try not to formulate an answer to the question or the statement that the person is saying, and we do that. We just can't wait for them to take a breath so we can jump in and tell them what we think. But try to be an active listener so that you can understand what it is they say. And people know when you're listening. People know when you're listening. And I'll tell you, I just had this happen to me with David. I'm gonna throw him all the way under the bus. But it was really okay to do this, but I'm gonna use it because I have a fresh example. I was talking to him and he saw something that was going on that was really not supposed to be going on. And I looked and I said, "Are you listening to me?" And he said, "No, I'm not." He said, "No, I'm not." Because what was happening wasn't supposed to be happening and he needed to take care of it. But outside of situations like that, we should be active listeners. And write and speak in a tone that is pleasant. Some people yell when they speak. Some people just are not pleasant. You just don't it's not that serious. Just kind of tone it down. Use your inside voice. You don't have to do this. But when you're speaking to someone, it's like you want to be spoken to. Speak to that person. Now, you may say, "I don't care about people who yell at me." Listen, everybody in the room, don't yell at me. Okay, use your inside voice when you. I might turn out to be the Hulk. You know, don't do that. You won't like me when I'm angry. Don't yell. Do not. Personal hygiene. And you think, well, why is that on here? As an HR manager, I cannot tell you how many times I've had to speak to employees about personal hygiene. You think as adults that we don't have to do that. You know, people need to know that they shower at least once a day, have some clean clothes, oral hygiene. But that is something that we want to be mindful of as we go out and be around people, whether it's at work or at a networking event. Regardless of where it is, we want to make sure that we are doing that. Cologne. I don't know if any of you have ever gone wherever, work, church, and the person smelled like they just slept in the bottle of cologne. They leave a trail. They're here, and the cologne is still here. It's just going, and it's in your throat. It's like, what is going? So it's okay. I love cologne. Let's use cologne, but just be mindful that some people have allergies. Some people really don't care for that. Just use a small amount. And I'm not gonna call any ladies out, but I will definitely tell you I've realized this more with women than men. So guys, where you don't open the doors, it's okay because you don't use a lot of colognes. And respect personal space. Oh my goodness. Respect people's personal space. What's the problem? It's not yours. Don't come into my space messing with my stuff. Ask me and I will let you use it, but just don't come and take it. And people do that. So business etiquette is here to stay. So take note. Manners never go out of style. No matter what happened, no matter what society we're in, manners never go out of style. Networking hacks. Here we go again. Use your name tag. And in networking, it's wonderful when you walk up to a person, you may have met them before, and it's like, I know her name. I know Heather. I know Chris. And it's like, I just can't think of their name. But when you have your name tag on, they can quickly see your name and they can say hi. And it's like, oh yeah, it's Heather. Oh yeah, it's Kristen. So let's remember, or Cynthia, let's remember to put our name tag on. And for those that flip like these, we're at a conference, so it's okay. But if you have the clip-on kind or the magnetic kind, just make sure it's up where people can see it. Wearing it around your waist, you don't want that. You don't want to do that. Breath mints are important because you're in someone's face. Just pop them in every now and then. And business cards. Make sure your business cards have your name, your phone number, your address. And I say your address, your mailing address, because sometimes people want to send you a card. You've probably met some folks. Here again, I think this was in again, that says, send them a card, get a bunch of cards, and you want to send. But if the business card doesn't have their address on it, then you're not going to be able to send it to them, okay? So make sure you have that information on your card and a current phone number. And when your cards are no longer current, where you have to cross off the phone number, or cross off the name, or cross off let's get some new business cards. Because that does not represent you well, okay? Let's get some new business cards. We can throw those away and get some new ones. Or you can save them and put them in the, the door prize box. Because they're not calling you anyway to see anything going on. You're going to get your prize and go on about your business. And have a pen, because you might want to jot something down. And wear something with pockets when possible. I don't have pockets today, so I already broke my own rule. Listen to, I listen to NPR. How many of you in here listen to NPR? Anybody? Yay! Yay! NPR, some folks back. NPR is so wonderful for staying current. You get to hear about sports, current events, books, and what that does is it gives you information to start conversations. You don't even have to think of anything. You get out of the car, I remember hearing this. And now, there's not a problem with starting a conversation because Astros is everybody's conversation. You don't have to worry about it. What do you think about those Astros? What do you think about those folks in Philadelphia not wanting to serve those? We've got some stuff to talk about, but later on, just listen to NPR. You'll get all the information you ever want to do. That's my personal preference. And at a networking meeting, I know this is something that probably doesn't set well with most people, but limit your intake of alcohol. There's nothing worse than being in a meeting with someone and they're just inebriated. They can hardly stand up, they can't hold their head up. It's like, although this is an after-hour event, it's still a business event. And you're still representing yourself or your company, so limit your intake. Notice I didn't say don't drink. I didn't say that. Just limit it and be aware or mindful of what your limits are. Okay, hugs and handshakes. Hugs and handshakes, let's only do hugs and handshakes when it's voluntary. And I know that everybody in here who knows me, y'all know that I'm a hugger. I'm getting better. You have to admit I'm better. I used to hug everybody. You leave out and go to the ladies' room and come back, I had to give you a hug because I just missed that. I'm just a hugger. So don't hug folks who really don't, and you can tell when people don't want to be hugged. You know, they kind of back up. You can also tell people who don't want to shake hands, don't shake their hand, bump their elbow or whatever, just don't do it. Little boy at church, I was trying to shake his hand, I hadn't seen him in a long time, and he said, I don't shake hands. He's 8 years old. I said, I'm sorry, I apologize. His mom told him that. He didn't come up with that on his own. Limit or avoid hugging because sometimes it can be perceived as sexual abuse, and you don't want that. Whether you're a man or woman, you don't want that. So just know that some people don't want to be touched, don't want to be hugged. And express that you don't want to be hugged or you don't want to shake someone's hand, and there's a hugging etiquette. I tell you, there's an etiquette for everything, hugging etiquette. And don't do it unless the person really doesn't mind you doing it. So we had handshakes before COVID and after COVID. We could handshake, but then we can fist bump. We can do with our masks, we can say hello. Well, whatever it is that you are doing, make sure that the person you are shaking hands with and interacting, that they're okay with it. Office, cubicle, coffee station etiquette. Now, next to the grocery cart in the parking space, the coffee station etiquette is probably right up there with me. We're better because we now have K-cups. But let me tell you, there is nothing worse than going into the coffee room or break room. Are they still calling them break rooms, coffee room? And there's sugar, creamer, coffee all over the counter. And why can't they take that one K-cup out of the coffee maker, throw it away after they make their coffee? You have to put it in there, so just that same little lever, just raise it up a little bit, get that K-cup out and put it in the trash, and voila, when I come in, all I have to do is put my K-cup in. How about that? It sounds a little selfish, but it is. It's just common sense. Do that. If you mess up, clean up. And avoid prairie dogging. Everybody know what prairie dogging is? Prairie dogging. Let's avoid that. Stop hanging over people's cubicles, their chairs. Stop it. Yeah, stop prairie dogging. We don't like prairie dogging. Okay, telephone etiquette. Where's my timer? David, okay. Answer the phone using your name and at least your title. And the reason for that is if I call your office and I say, you say, hi, this is Christian Cherry, I'm in office A. If I'm looking for you, that I already know. But if I'm not looking for you, I can say, oh, I'm sorry, I was trying to get Heather. Then you can say, well, Heather's number is, and give the person the number in case you get cut off. You don't want to get cut off and have to call 1,000 extensions. So remember to give your name and the number. And if you need to transfer them again, make sure you give them that number. When you're leaving a message, this is important, especially with cell phones. Speak slowly. I don't mean dragging it on like this, is Carol, like well, y'all probably don't even know what records are, but used to be you had the long playing albums, the big ones, the 33s, and if you put a 45 on that, it would drag. You don't have to speak that slowly, but what you do want to do is leave your name and your number, like number 281-381-3316, and then repeat it. Because on cell phones sometimes there's some static in there and you'll miss a number, but that way the person will have your number and they can call you back. So if you ever have someone that hadn't called you back, you think, well, they may not have heard your number, okay? Email etiquette, yes. Email etiquette, oh my goodness. I I want you to turn to page 4 in the handout. If you got a handout, you're going to need this. Let me tell you, we all have emails. We all have an email address. Listen to this. Potentially, if I sent you an email, guess what? Potentially, everyone in this room could get that email. So if it's not something that you want to be read by someone else, be careful what you write. Just like your tone, be careful what you do. Because just like I can get your email and send it to everybody in my address book, everyone who gets it can do the same thing. So we've heard enough stuff about email. Now, this is Noodles. How many of you know Noodles? Anybody know Noodles? Okay. Now you're going to need page 4 because check Noodles out. Noodles is working from home. That popped up. So what popped up, you can't read it, but it's on page 4. That's what the email says. But you got to check Noodles out. Noodles is not happy. Earliest convenience. Okay, Pete. Wait, you haven't seen anything yet. She's watching TV. Can y'all read that? It says, Dear Policy P, apologies for my delayed response. I just seen this now. Please, whatever. There. So what we don't want to do, y'all, is we don't. Noodles way is not the way to respond to emails. And then quickly, as we move into, and I don't remember maybe it was the first speaker talking about after the interview, sometimes you will get asked to out to dinner. This is very simple. Here, everybody hold both hands and do this. Index finger to your thumb. That's a B and a D. You don't know which glass of water is yours. The D is drink and the B is bread. If you don't want me to see you holding your hands up at the restaurant, just put them on your lap and do a D and a B, okay? So you'll know which water is yours. Don't drink my water, just, I've already told you, you know what the hack is now. D and a B. That's your water, don't touch mine. That's it, Carolyn Gray, Zircon Consulting. David, do I have time for questions, suggestions, concerns, or comments? Okay, if we have any, we may not have any. Okay, we don't have any. Thank you.